Hey everyone, one Sith here to do another video. So, there's this Star Wars animated tier list maker that I kind of wanted to figure out and do, because I kind of want to do my own video on what I consider the best Star Wars films and so on and so forth. I see there's a few games down here. I'm not going to use the games, I'm actually just going to do the films, right? First up, let's start with what I consider the worst. Worse than best. Now, I want to put it here in the D list. For me, this is the worst Star Wars film since the Holiday Special, which... Where is the Holiday Special? Do they not have the Holiday Special here? Really? They've got games, but no Holiday Special? That's interesting, but fair enough. So, as a film, the cinematography was great, and the acting was, as you'd expect from Star Wars, so... But plot, universe, it's just... The fact that it doesn't feel like Star Wars to me, Episode 7 is just unimaginative, uninspired trash to me. It's everything I did not want from Star Wars. It's everything Lucas made Star Wars not to be. It's the same old story, the same old planets, the same old characters, basically just reverse engineered as a female and a 30-year-old instead of a 60-year-old Sith guy, and then it's just like new Death Star, and it's just, story-wise, it's terrible. Character-wise, I mean, I know first movie, it's hard to get characters you love. The only character I liked was, like, Kylo Ren, and Finn and Poe were, like, a second. Rey, I think, is terrible. I think she's a Mary Sue. I think she's boring. She has a boring story. It feels like she's just a female Luke Skywalker, and as a standalone, it's too nostalgic, you know? I grew up with Star Wars, OT prequel trilogy at the same time, basically. And to me, I love the fact that each era felt like a different era. This just feels like Rebels vs. Empire again, just with no substance. So for me, I would officially put this as a D, but in terms of like the filmmaking style, it's a C. But yeah, it's still pretty bad, at least for me. I do not like Episode 7, and last time I watched Episode 7, halfway through the film, I just muted it and started reading Legends comic book. Because they got rid of the Jedi, they destroyed the Republic, everybody's a terrible father, or something like that, you know. It's just so bad. It's just, I get angry every time I think about this film, and I hate that. I hate that I hate a Star Wars film as much as I do Episode 7. But it is what it is, alright? It is what it is. Next up, I would say, I like Solo, okay? I like Solo. Solo and Rogue One, I think, are neck and neck here. I really like those films, and they are superior to, honestly, 7 and 8. 7 and 8. I watched Rogue One again yesterday, and it's not perfect, you know, but I think in terms of balancing original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and its own story, it did it pretty well. And, I mean, yeah, there's like 3 characters that have depth. Jyn, the pilot, he's got some depth there. And the guy that's, you know, just a badass Mexican. I think he's Mexican. I'm not 100% sure. No, maybe he's not 100% sure his authenticity, but yeah, he's kind of cool. I liked him. So, yeah, I'd say that's about it. And then you got Solo. I really enjoyed Solo. I thought Solo was a good in between from like Rogue One, 3 to 4, great in between. Great characters, interesting aspects of the story, a lot of Legends content too that was in there too, which I loved. I loved Darth Maul being in there as well, and it was fun. It wasn't perfect, they really weren't perfect, but they were fun, interesting, different, and they had imagination, they had a substance, they knew what they wanted to do. So for me, I leave it there. Next up, I would say Last Jedi. So Last Jedi for me is a mixed film. At some ends I like it because it's completely different from Episode 7, and in a way, yes, it destroys Episode 7, but Episode 7 wasn't all that good to begin with. So for me, Episode 7 is but Episode 8 is a mix between and I enjoy this. This is fun. It's still on the lower end. It's definitely on the lower end, right? It stays there. But I definitely enjoyed it more than Episode 7 because it tried to do something. You know, it didn't completely succeed in that, but it tried to do something different. It had imagination, had substance, had style. It didn't try to rehash the same old shit. Not really, anyway. Next up, I'm going to put the Clone Wars, but the Clone Wars goes here. Both Clone Wars goes here, and actually that can go there as well. So, Clone Wars TV show, both of those are amazing, fantastic stuff, loved them, watched them as a kid too much. that one first. I watched that way too many times as a kid, and that one was fantastic too. Although I didn't watch that as much. I watched like probably a season's worth through its entire run, and then I got back to it when I realized that it's actually really, really good. So yeah, but those two were great. The movie, it falters, but I mean, it was basically 3 episodes in one put into a movie. It's understandable. So now, A New Hope, I think it's 8. I love A New Hope. I think it's great, but it's not the best. It is definitely the weakest, I think, of the original trilogy. In a way. Return of the Jedi, I think, is probably the next one up here, but it's hard because I like Return of the Jedi the most. I think if you watch it from episode 1 to 6, Return of the Jedi is a fantastic ending. It has a fantastic build-up, and the special editions make it feel like the entire universe and galaxy is celebrating. But then you got things like Ewoks and just certain aspects that you're like, which is why I'm kind of half and half. Like, I love A New Hope because it is set this all up, but it's not my main one. It's not my go-to one. So I'm kind of like, and I do enjoy Return of the Jedi more. So I'm like, what do I do? It's hard, but that's kind of the way I see it in a way, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's just how I see it. It's hard when you come to the original trilogy because it's like I see the flaws, but I see the love and the nostalgia, and it's just like Next up is The Phantom Menace, which I would put up. Yeah, look, I love The Phantom Menace. I do. I absolutely do. Yes, at times it's a bit slow, and at times it's a lot of politics, but when I look back on it, especially after this one, the politics help make the story and universe come together, and it's one of the main reasons I actually do like the film. But I have to be in a certain mind frame to watch it. I can't just go, I'm going to watch this today. I got to be in a certain mind frame to watch it before I can go, shit yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of it. At least for me. But I still enjoy it. I think it was a good start. And we actually has character development from him to the end. Next up is Attack of the Clones, which I actually put ahead of episode 1. I love Attack of the Clones. I'd actually put it in the A1, but yeah, it's hard. So I grew up with a lot of 1930s, 40s, 50s films, black and white, old pulpy stuff, and that's what episode 2 is. It is a 1930s action adventure film. All you have to do to understand that film is watch Dr. Zhivago, which is I think a 1930s love film, and the original Planet of the Body Snatchers. Oh no, what was it? Something of the Body Snatchers. You watch those 2 films, and you will understand episode 2 to a T. In terms of its dialogue choices, in terms of its own era, like it's actually really fun, and I do enjoy it. And honestly, Jango Fett, the Clone Wars starting, Count Dooku, like, I don't care what anybody says. This is not the worst Star Wars film. This is a great Star Wars film, and I love it. I love it enough to put it ahead of these. So, yeah. Anyway, what's next? Empire Strikes Back. That's an S. It's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. You can't fault it. Revenge of the Sith. To me, these two, same boat. None are better than the other. They are 10 out of 10s. Fantastic. Episode 3 just was a combination of the first 2 films, and even the last 3 films just came together. And I was like, holy shit. That blew me away in the cinema, episode 3. From the start with the spaceships battles to General Grievous to the Fall of the Jedi. Beautiful. Mustafar, beautiful. The planet's beautiful. There's imagination, there's substance, there's style, there's love. Love it. Same with Empire Strikes Back. There's substance, there's style, and there is love. You can tell that these 2 films right here in the Star Wars universe, they were made with love and care. And to me, that is Star Wars. 100%. More so than others. And if you're going to put Rebels in there, I'd probably put Rebels. It's good, but it's not Clone Wars. That it's probably there. I'd put it there. And then you got the games. All right, if we're going to do the games, Old Republic's probably here. Republic Commando is here. Knights of the Old Republic 2 and 1 are here. They are some of the best Star Wars stuff ever. So that's kind of my thing. Actually, screw it. Episode 7 goes down to a D. I'm just thinking of it all. I cannot like Episode 7. I mean, maybe in time from the Extended Universe, I might enjoy it enough to move it up to a C, maybe even a B. But right now, it's my least favorite Star Wars film. And to be fair, the holiday special would be nearer too. But for some reason, the holiday special isn't here, which is interesting. But hey. Anyway, that's my substance and style of the Star Wars films. Like I said, I enjoy them. I love them. Clone Wars is a fun one. I do enjoy The Last Jedi, though it's not perfect. Solo, very similar. Even Rogue One is similar. Old Republic's a fun video game MMO. Rebels is great. Not a brilliant or amazing like, say, the Clone Wars, but it's still great. Episode 1 and 2, I just love, you know. Republic Commando, fantastic game, fantastic TV show, one of the best. And in a way, I could see myself putting it up there, but I think I've got to rewatch it again. Same with that one. Like, these two are fantastic, and just from what I remember, they're an A series. Same with episode 4 and 6. Now, in a way, I would put this as a 10 in its own way. Like, on its own, as a start of Star Wars, it's an S. It's a 10. But compared to, say, Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, I kind of feel like that's a good point for it there. At least for me. Return of the Jedi, not perfect. Ewoks were stupid. They're still dumb, but hey, Star Wars for you. It has some dumb moments, and there was some plot weirdness, you know, like, it's fun, it's interesting, but it has a really strong ending, and if you watch the first 5 films before it, that really is a fantastic ending, and that ending nails it. It's like the opposite of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones built all this up, ended shittly. This built all the way up and ended perfectly. And while I agree, extended universe stuff could have happened and been great, we then got 7. And then 8. But hey, at least 8's better. And then you got things like Knights of the Republic, fantastic game, Revan, badass. Number 2, actually, I would put that one, because number 2 I liked, but number 1 felt like a good mix between old school Star Wars and just epicness. And then Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back, 10 out of 10 masterpieces, so on and so forth. Anyway, that is my labeling of Star Wars films. Like it, hate it, who knows? It is what it is. Anyway, one Sith out, Sin Valhalla, bye.